before I forget, as I already got started. We just have a few slides here to get started, and then we'll get into our quick presentation from Jan Null, and then we'll get into our breakout sessions where we seem to get a lot of our work done. And let me move forward here. I like to always start off, and those of you who have joined in the past are like, she always starts here. And I do, because I don't think it hurts any of us just to have a reminder of the purpose and why we're here for this group is really to strategize together for those next steps in PVH prevention. And if I looked at the people registered for this call, and we're multidisciplinary on purpose and by design. On this call, we have engineers, we have public safety advocates, we have government affairs and policy experts, we have medical professionals, we have marketing and communication specialists, we have injury prevention professionals. I think I said safety advocates, developers, behavioral scientists. I could go on. We are a group of people who have different backgrounds and lenses to really look at this problem that is going to need all of that different experience. And we're hoping that we can gather here together and use that background together to come up with different strategies that work, countermeasures that work, as you may hear. So really looking at advancing those countermeasures and utilizing our collective backgrounds and coming together to try to bring the numbers down, these cases down to zero. And really taking a look at the analysis and research that is out there currently, and to see if we can identify anything that's missing, see if there's anything that we can communicate together and share, that there's opportunity for growth and partnerships. I've received quite a few emails from members who participated that said, hey, could you connect me with this person? And I said, I have their email. Let me see if we can get you in contact with them. And really to have that impact and outreach. A lot of us are doing our own different things, but isn't it great that we can all come together for a short time and seeing if collectively we can advance to at a greater strength and speed. So that's my little spiel as we get started. And again, thank you for joining us today. Again, my name is Jessica Butterfield. I'm working for National Safety Council. And one of my programs that I manage is the pediatric vehicular heat stroke. So I thought we've started, this is the fourth one that I've led. I think there's been 5 in total. What we'd like to start off with 1-minute introductions from some members that have joined us today. And that really is just, and it's not everyone. And if you're new, we'll eventually make sure that everyone has their spotlight, as I like to say. They're just the ability to see the face and hear the name and possibly make those connections for the future. And then we'll start there. And then we have a brief presentation from Jan Null on technology and pediatric vehicular heat strokes by the numbers. So not necessarily talking about technology as the actual technology, but really looking at that countermeasure and how to really look at what to expect short-term and long-term, and open up that discussion between those lenses that are with us today. And then we'll do our breakout sessions, and we have some people from National Safety Council that have joined us today that can help lead those discussions and take some notes so we can share those later. So that's my opening spiel, and I will get it to where we can get our get to know spotlights. So asked if your last name starts between a P and an S, and I looked at those registered, and I think we're about 4, but that could have changed since last time I looked. So really, if you could just take a quick minute, if you shall choose, to talk to us about what your role is, perhaps your background and activities in PVH, and any countermeasure interests. There's so many of us that have more than one, correct? So I don't know if I have a volunteer to go first, but looking for someone between last name P through S. So you're never the first or last one called, right? Depending on what group you're in.
Sure, I guess I'll go. This is Scott Schmidt. I'm VP.
Hey, Scott, thanks for joining.
Yeah. Yep, VP for safety at the Alliance for Automotive Innovation. You all know my team members, Kristen Kingsley and Paul Scullion. But I was able to log in today, and so I'm glad to be here. Obviously, I'm a long-term safety person doing safety for Consumer Product Safety Commission when I was a student in the university, working at NHTSA, working at IHS, working in alternate fuel vehicles, working for our member companies, and working for the predecessor alliance in here. So safety is in my blood, and I'm glad to be here. I'm also glad to, as the alliance is cleaner, safer, smarter, we're looking to try to provide level playing fields for encouraging technology development. So that's it.
Thank you very much. And I know in today's technology or what am I looking for? Research, we're going to break out into different groups. The research group has requested to really start with technology and engineering. So be looking for that breakout session if that appeals to you. All right, who's next? Do we have anyone else who'd like to go?
I'll go next. My name is Alok Prasad, so it's right there, P, the first letter in this last name range. I'm with National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA Research. NHTSA Research has got a test facility where we do hands-on work on different aspects of vehicle safety. I personally have been in crash worthiness areas for since '88, about 30 plus years. Recently, PVH got added to one of my projects, and we have put out a report that was sent out along with the notice. I also have a recorded presentation of slides that we did in fall of last year. I can include those links to those things. We have an ongoing project to look at new technologies as they emerge, and I highly encourage people to contact me with information about advanced systems that I will be able to test. So that is kind of an important aspect of my work. We don't do type approvals or looking at designs. If there's something concrete that we can put through its paces, then that becomes more of a priority for me. So yes, safety of unattended child monitoring systems and preventing PVH is a very active, project at we are at NHTSA and specifically also at my lab in Ohio.
Thank you very much. I recognized your name as yes, I did attach that to the meeting invitation and would be happy to include the recorded slides to the group as well. So I'll reach out to you, Alok. Thank you so much. And are you located in Ohio?
Yes, we are close to Columbus, Ohio. There's a TRC that some people may be familiar with, Transportation Research Center. NHTSA leases a building on that property that is part of NHTSA Research. Specifically, our lab is called Vehicle Research and Test Center, VRTC.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to visit there before. I'm in Michigan and did spend 10 years with NHTSA in the Office of Defects Investigation. So I know some folks from VRTC. Awesome, thank you so much. Is there anyone else who would like to go?
I'll go next.
Thank you, Amber.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Amber Rollins with Kids and Car Safety. And for those of you who don't know our organization, we're a national nonprofit organization, and our mission is to save children's lives in and around vehicles. And we have kind of a special focus on non-traffic incidents, including hot car deaths and injuries. So we've been working on the issue for 25 years, and I've been with the organization for 16 of those years. And we have a pretty small staff over here, so we wear lots of different hats. But one of the things that we focus on is data collection. So we've been documenting hot car deaths and injuries for 25 years now, and as well as other cases involving children left alone in vehicles and the many other things that go wrong when they're left unattended. Right now, we are in the process of working on a couple of research studies with various groups, universities, and different organizations. And we are continuing our Look Before You Lock program, which started in 2011. We're still going strong with that. We've got a couple new projects going on. We're providing education materials to parent educators and other safety professionals who are reaching families with young children, and working on a course for car seat technicians. And we've got 3 really awesome new hot car videos. So I will share the link with those in the chat and would encourage everybody to use them. Our main focus really over the next year or so is going to be on continuing the push for technology to prevent hot cars. So we really want to make sure that NHTSA is staying within the 2-year deadline for the hot cars provision that passed last year, and issuing that final rule without delay. And we also want to ensure that the final rule is going to require technology, the most effective technology that's available. We just had a group of over 70 family members that we work closely with who sent a letter to Secretary Pete Buttigieg, encouraging him to help us get that final rule over the finish line and make sure that it's going to have some technology that's going to really make a difference. Another thing we've kind of run into or working on a lot with the media and just people reaching out to us, there's a lot of confusion about rear seat reminder alerts and what they're capable of doing and what they're not capable of doing. And people are just really confused. So we're working hard to try to clear up that confusion. A lot of people even who've been working on this issue with us for many, many years are confused. So that's one of our big goals, is to help people kind of understand how that system functions and what it might not be able to do. So we're going to continue pushing hard for technology, and I would encourage anybody on the call who wants to be a part of that to reach out. And we've got some ideas that we're going to be working on here coming up, and we'd love for you guys to join us.
Thank you, Amber. Again, one of the, I think, strengths and highlights of this group is the connections and the continuing conversations that can be had. And if anyone needs or has that, I would like to get a hold of somebody, just let me know. And if you don't have it yourself, and I can try to assist in that. Thank you so much, Amber. And I think that we're going to go ahead and I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to go ahead and have Jan present his information that he's developed, just to take a look at the countermeasure of technology and kind of just open up that discussion for this group to take a look at the countermeasure and what we might be looking at in terms of short-term and long-term effects. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, Jan, so you can share.
Jessica, could I do mine really quick? I apologize.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm like, I thought
I was really looking forward to my say.
You're like, I was all prepared. Go share.
I'm Sharon. I'm the product management lead for technology at Good Baby International, and I'm the product owner for SensorSafe. And I am very committed to addressing the strengths and weaknesses of the SensorSafe technology and finding ways to mitigate those. So I've been reaching out to some of you to see how we can partner and just kind of raise my, always trying to raise my awareness as to how SensorSafe is helping and what are its weaknesses that I could potentially address and improve.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sharon, for getting that in there. And I appreciate you're just like, no, I want to go. So please reach out to Sharon. Everyone here, it sounds like there's so many connections to be made. All right, Jan, I'm turning
Jessica,
it over to
do you want other introductions, or do you want us to hold off till next meeting?
I think we're gonna go ahead and hold off because I want to make sure that we can get through, what we can. Something that I'm looking at, I just don't know if an hour is enough. So something that I'm looking possibly to roll out, and I'll reach out to the group to see if we maybe perhaps want to do some additional quarterly breakout sessions so we can actually get all this in here. But we'll continue next time and look for a little bit of a agenda reformatting for next time.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right, Jan, I'm turning it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jessica, and good morning or afternoon, depending on what time zone you're in. And Jessica mentioned all the different fields that we come from, and I think it's fairly safe to say that I'm probably the only meteorologist in the group. I get lots of media contacts related to pediatric vehicular heat stroke, and almost all of them these days also ask about technology. So I decided to sort of dig down in some of the numbers and sort of see where that landscape is. So just a real quick overview of the types of instances, circumstances surrounding PVH deaths. Just over 50% are where children are forgotten in vehicles. Another 26 are where they gain access on their own. And then the 20% are where they are knowingly left by a parent or other caregiver. And if we break these numbers down over the last 24 years, you can see that the about almost 20 per year are in the forgotten category, 10 per year are gained access, 7.5 are knowingly left. So as Amber was talking about, technology, the initial push for technology was these reminder systems that some of the early adopter car companies put in using door logic, sensor pads, sometimes phone apps. The more inclusive technology or detection types of systems like radar and ultrasonic, which detect a child in a vehicle. And if we apply these and look at, and I should mention, so the numbers I'm be talking about are exclusive of car seats and other sensors and other aftermarket solutions. Would love to have some numbers to integrate into this and maybe have that part of it a secondary sort of discussion here. This is primarily looking at technology in new cars. So the types of circumstances that can be mitigated by technology, the forgotten category are primarily the reminder systems, the door logic types of systems. If we add the detection systems, then we pull into the gained access and the reminder. So that's accounting for 79% of the cases. Unfortunately, this is not gonna, be able to significantly mitigate those that children that are knowingly left by a parent or caregiver while they go do something else, make a decision to go to appointment, go to work, do some other activity. So I started looking at some of the US vehicle facts. So right now there's about 193 million light passenger vehicles on the road. There are about another 100 million other light vehicles, vans, other types of vehicles that don't carry passenger, but primarily 193 are light passenger vehicles that would fall into the category of PVH. Each year, there's about 17 million new vehicles sold per year. Those are historical numbers. COVID, supply chain issues have changed that a bit, but hopefully that will be coming back. So that accounts for about 8% or almost 9% of the vehicles on the road each year are new vehicles. So each year we're adding 9% of new vehicles. The average time that people keep a new car is about 8 years historically. This was a statistic that really jumped out at me. Of the people buying new cars, only about 31% are less than 45 years of age. So the age group, a kind of an extended age group that would be buying a vehicle and be transporting a young child. There's about 40 million used cars sold per year. About 10% of those have been cycled up from the new car fleet, that 8-year period. And in that category, the under 45 group is about 38%. There's some distracting noise. Can someone make sure they're muted, please? So if we look at the potential lives saved with reminder-only systems, so that's just looking at 8.8% of the cars per year. And over the next 20 years, we would potentially save 295 lives. So this would be basically in the forgotten category of lives. So the full amount over 20 years with the current average numbers is 756 lives are lost in that 20-year period. If we look at detection systems, that number jumps up significantly, and we're saving 483 lives per year, which is about 64% of the that 756 number that I mentioned. However, if we're looking at new cars, that 31% bought by age groups less than 45 years of age, then that number ramps down significantly. We're now the potential number of lives saved by new technologies with detection are down to 170 per year, only about 22%. That number is slightly higher if we add in both new and used cars bought by ages 45 years of age or less. But even this 176% is 23% of the total lives that are lost on average in a 20-year period. So less than a quarter. So technology does save lives. But even after 20 years of detection technology, we're only saving about a quarter of the potential lives. And often the last people that get new cars and newer technology will be in the traditionally underserved communities. So, you know, the kind of overall context, you know, technology in new cars is great. As I've said, it will save lives, but we need to continue the education and awareness. We need to be looking at the technologies like in car seats and apps and other technologies. Part and parcel with that and other awareness programs and education is, you know, to keep screaming the message that it can happen to anyone. And, you know, so we can get, you know, a much more inclusive sort of understanding. You know, the numbers I'm using are the best that I have available. If any people have other better numbers that you know that they would like to share with me, I think most of you probably have my contact information by now. I did want to add, I added in one quick slide. I think I have another moment or two here. I'd seen a number of recent headlines where it says that the rate of PVH deaths is going up. That is true, but the population in the 20 plus years that we're looking at, and I'm going to be excluding the past 2 years, which have, you know, we've seen the numbers drop down about 50% of what they were historically because of COVID, transportation, different sorts of transportation patterns. But the population has increased by 19% in the United States. So if we look at the per capita number in each of those years versus the population, the linear trend line on here is just about dead flat as far as, you know, there's not a decrease, not an increase. If we're looking at the changing population, and this is without without the last 2 years. We throw in the last 2 years, and I think it's a misleading slope going down. So still lots and lots of work to do. And thank you all for your time, and reach out to me if you want to chat some more.
Thank you, Jan. I think I see Kristen Kingsley with a hand up. Do you have a question, Kristen, about this?
Yeah, if you don't mind, Jessica. Thanks, Jan, so much for your presentation. I'm sure others are going to have a lot of questions and comments, and hopefully we have time for those because I think they're really important. The one update I have is that current data shows that vehicles average age is about 12 years now on the roads today. So unfortunately, that may mean a lower potential percentage for effectiveness over the course of the next several years. But I do know, I did see the chat, folks going back and forth. This data is really important, but I think there's also other data that we need to consider, and that is kids that are left alone in vehicles and suffer other, issues, not just heat stroke. And so though this is really helpful information, it should be just like one part of the whole picture. And I know that that's our topic for this stakeholder group. But I also wanted to just mention, thank you for reiterating that the vehicle technology is just one piece of a holistic approach that we're taking here, because there are so many people in this group doing so many things that are so important. So, and thank you, Jessica, for making these connections for all of us. I know I've taken advantage and have had some really good conversations with folks. And then just one last question. Jan, I saw that Jeanette asked if this data includes SUVs and like light trucks, or is it just like passenger cars?
It includes SUVs, vans, light passenger, and even small trucks that have cab areas in them.
Okay, so is it like the GVWR of 8,500 or less or something definition?
Yeah, it's the vehicles that are not in there are the ones that are historically are not used for transporting people.
Okay, thanks, and sorry to take up so much time.
This is good discussion. It goes back into my plan and my hope for October is that perhaps we can look at schedules and see if we can add some additional timing for these subgroups that we have for these breakout sessions, because I think these quarterly meetings are great and the connections that have been made, and but we're really looking to get out that information and to make progress on these countermeasures. So perhaps we can I'm going to look to changing the agenda up a little bit for October, and then potentially be adding some more for those who are able to join on additional sessions for those subgroups. So I'm going to go ahead and reshare my screen here. Where are we? Oops, I don't want to do that. I gotta go through Jan's really quick. Hang on. This is not what I wanted to do. Sorry, folks, but I can't figure out a faster way to do it. Oops, there we go.
Jess, maybe while, if you got where you wanted, I think there was still one more introduction at least that needed to be done.
We can do that if we still have that introduction, or we could if the person who hasn't introduced, if we're about to break out into the breakout sessions, and feel free to continue on with those introductions. We have Amy Artuso here, and we also have Tara Leistra from National Safety Council, who are going to help in the breakout sessions. But I'm going to go ahead and get that started because we are at 1:32 and I have you guys scheduled. I want to be mindful of your time and your efforts. So I'm going to get ahead and get that started. Please choose. I didn't pre-assign. You may be feeling something different today, as I look at this group and I go back to those E's, the engineering, the enforcement, which has so many different parts to it. So it's not necessarily the one that you think of all the time. The education part and emergency response that you always hear of, the 4 E's of NHTSA. This group has a lot of different efforts in all of those pillars too. So whatever you're feeling today, please choose. The next steps in research, we're going to have you choose that subgroup, and then Amy's going to be with you. Amy Artuso from National Safety Council. Evidence-based communication strategy is going to be myself, and then advancing PVH policy is going to be Tara from NSC. So introductions can continue on there, please. And again, your time for announcements, projects for collaboration, upcoming presentations, conferences, ideas, goals, action items. This is your time to really use to work together. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started. I do have the countdown on for half an hour. I have it set so you should get a 2-minute warning before everyone's going to get bounced back. But as it happened last time, I don't know if that actually worked or not. So let's see if I can get this started. Breakout rooms. Open all rooms. So you should be seeing. Is it giving you a choice?
Yes.
No, we're seeing people's names, or I'm seeing people's names.
On the bottom, there's a little button that says breakout rooms. And if you select that, it shows you 3 that you can join into.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Thank you. We're all learning together. I'm going to stay on here until everyone is in the rooms that they, and if you need help, I can assign you to. See you shortly, everyone. Like I said, I'm going to stay here, and if you need assistance, please let me know and I can put you in the room that you're looking for. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Good, how are you?
It's the best day of my life.
See Jeanette's still on here, Francesco. Anyone need help getting into the room that they want?
Yeah, can you put me in the room that has the least number of people? 'Cause I've been in all of them right now.
What are you feeling today, Joe?
Okay, I've been in all of them, so wherever you put me is good.
It looks like communication is 5 and policy is 4. Which one do you prefer?
Let's go with policy.
All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. Jeanette, do you need any? Can I get you in a room of your choice? Nope. Julie, can I help you?
Is Jess here? I think our research group was most of the attendees for the meeting. So I think we definitely know one of the strong interest areas. And there was a question, I'm not sure if the person is still on, but there's a question if behavioral research was appropriate for that group. And I just want to say, yes, it is. It just happened to be that today we had prioritized engineering and technology.
Hi, everyone. Is everyone back?
Research is.
Awesome. Communication should be policy. Are you here? They'll be here. They'll be here soon. Because I didn't hit the close, but I put out that message that it was closing down, and then I hit it after I stopped talking. I don't know about your group, but ours was there weren't that many in the communications group, but oh my goodness, the communication that was going on in the communication group was I'm looking forward to sharing. So I thought we could start with just a brief recap from the different sessions, and then we don't really have the time for the updates. Just want to make sure that people are aware that these free courses are available on cpsboard.org/heatstroke, and they're available, takes about 15 minutes, and they're available both in English and in Spanish. And please contact me with any future plans, updates, presentations that you would like to present to the group. And I'm going to look at changing up the agenda just a little bit and adding on some sessions so our conversations can continue. But Amy, if you wouldn't mind just doing a quick brief recap of what the research group, and I think you were starting off with engineering today instead of behavioral, correct?
We did, and I wanted to make the clarification because somebody had asked if that group was appropriate for behavioral research, and the answer is yes. It just happened to be that today, that in follow-up from the last meeting, the focus was intended to be engineering and technology. So either is appropriate. We had a really productive discussion. I don't even know that I could do it justice in a short amount of time, but Jess, I have noted people that volunteered to be future speakers or might be potential speakers for even the October meeting.
Wonderful. And we will circle back and capture some notes and distribute that as well. Thank you, Amy. Tara, do you have anything and you'd like to share like in 20 seconds, or go ahead and I'll follow up later?
Well, I'll say the biggest thing that we talked about is that a lot of the stuff that you do on the policy side, you have to have the educational component, and that people really need to understand that this could happen to them for even the technologies to be desirable in the cars, or, you know, the add-ons that you can get with your car seats and things like that. So we talked a lot about that part of it. And I'll send you my full notes after.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Looking forward to what was going on in your group. And we had in the communications group, we had quite a bit of discussion on where people are getting the information. In Virgin Waters, who presented a few months ago, if those of you who were able to join us, did a little update on her dissertation, and just really talking about the need to really bring in healthcare providers and have this be part of the discussion at those anticipatory guidance sessions. And she was talking about the difference and the similarities of how SIDS was communicated to parents, you know, back a few years ago, and how that's changed in the public health arena. So there's a lot of conversations there, and I'm going to pull it all together. But like I said, within this next minute, I can't do it justice. But we just want to make sure people are aware that these are being recorded, and you can review the first part and the end part of this session at cpsboard.org/heatstroke. Look under the next steps in evidence-based prevention practice, and you can see the recordings. And then just a reminder that our next scheduled meeting will be October 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern. There's my email. Please contact me. I'm going to really be taking a hard look at the agenda and reaching out to us to see if we can work on that contact list for those who would like to be included, and also some extra sessions for our subgroups so we can continue this discussion. And I thank you all so much for your participation today. I apologize for being a few minutes late. I know that we all have busy schedules, so thank you so much. And please stay safe out there, and thank you for all your hard work. And I'm going to stop recording. And then those of you who can stay on, great. Those of you who need to move on, understood.
Thanks, Jess. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Kristen. Bye.